And talking about slipping, one of the things that we have to worry about is ladders. Because doing electrical work, you're going to have to be up on a ladder because not everything is down here at this level. You're going to have to be up above the false ceiling. Because of that, yeah, you're going to have to go up on a ladder. Now, typically, one of the ladders that has been used throughout history is a wooden ladder. Now, wooden ladders are okay for certain jobs, but you have to think about what kind of a job you're doing. For example, if you're painting, okay, or you're putting drywall, paper up or whatever, then, it's okay. But if you're doing electrical work, you have to be careful because what happens is the wooden ladder, when you first buy a wooden ladder, it's light and it's easy to handle. You can move it here, move it there, no problem. It works fine. But then as time goes by, the wood is going to absorb moisture. Now, wood is supposed to be an insulator, or wood is an insulator, but the problem now is that on a wooden ladder, after time, is going to absorb the moisture. So the wood is going to be soaked with moisture, with water, so now it becomes a conductor. Because it becomes a conductor, now you have to be extra careful when working on electrical equipment. Now this ladder, it's going to conduct electricity, and now if you touch a hot wire, it's going to shock you. So you have to be very, very careful about that. From wooden ladders, they went to aluminum ladders. Now aluminum ladders, they were great. I have used the wooden and the aluminum ladders. The aluminum ladders, they don't get heavier as they age. They work fine. They'd last a lot longer than a wooden ladder. But the problem is that aluminum is a good conductor. Now later we're going to talk about conductors and insulators, but a conductor is something that conducts electricity. An insulator does not allow the electricity to go through. So now, if we have an aluminum ladder, we have a very good conductor, like aluminum and copper and gold. They're very good conductors. So now an aluminum ladder can get us shocked and it can get us hurt. Yes, on the aluminum ladders, sometimes they put rubber feet on them, and that's great, that's wonderful. But what happens if the rubber feet fail? Well, when that happens, yeah, then they're still a conductor. What happens when you are up above a false ceiling and you have your head stuck up in there above the false ceiling and you're touching the frame where the false ceiling is? Well, you're still going to get shocked. If the feet fail, then it's going to go through and it's going to go straight to ground. So typically it is best not to use an aluminum ladder when doing electrical work. Think about that. Think about what you're going to be doing so you know what type of ladder to use. Now, they also have the fiberglass ladders. Those are great. Those are wonderful. There are different types of fiberglass ladders, so you have to know what it is that you're doing so you get the correct one. Now, for example, they have the regular A ladder. Now, that's just the one that everybody uses, and you can climb up on that ladder and do what you have to do. But remember, like I said a minute ago, if you're up there working and you're above the false ceiling, you might be touching the frame of that ceiling tile. Right where the ceiling tile goes, that's metal. So now you touch something, you touch a hot wire, it travels through you, and it goes into that metal frame. Even though it's fiberglass, again, the feet could fail. But what if you're also working with this ladder, but it's raining? You're outside, or let's say it's raining outside, you bring the ladder in, and the ladder's all wet. Now it's a conductor. So think about that. Maybe you want to dry it off, make sure the feet are dried off before you get up there, because those steps could be saving your life. So we need to think about that, okay? Be careful so you don't get hurt out there. Now, since we're talking about fiberglass ladders, there are the extension ladders. Now, the extension ladders are great because you can pull on that cord and then they extend and you can get to different heights whenever you need to. But there are a couple of things with the extension ladder. Typically, what happens is we have to extend the extension ladder. We lean it up against the building. So in other words, here's my building. Here's your floor. And we're going to have to take this ladder and extend it to, let's say, 20 feet right here. Now the question is, how far away should this ladder be from the building? Typically, rule of thumb says that it should be 1/4 the distance of the height. So for example, if we are 20 feet up high, then we take and we say, okay, we have 20 feet, we divide that by 4 because that's the quarter, and we get 5. 5 times 4, that's 20. Okay, so we know that the distance here, it needs to be 5 feet because that is 20 feet right there. So this is very important so that you don't slip and fall, because if that ladder is leaning too far, it's going to slip out from under you. If that ladder is up at too high of an angle like this, you're going to fall backwards. And as much as I don't like to admit it, I know this because these have happened to me or have come close to this happening to me. So think about that. Please be very, very careful when it comes to ladders. Now, another thing I wanted to point out is that sometimes what happens is we have to work on top of a building. We have to get up on the roof of the building. And because of that, well, this ladder is going to help us get up there, but let's say that this is the rooftop right here. That's the rooftop. This ladder has to be, again, 1/4 the distance of the height, and it needs to extend. Rule of thumb says 3 feet above the roof line. 3 feet above the roof line. Why is that? Well, that's so that when you're up there, you climb up here, then you have something to hold on to as you get onto the roof. Now you hold on to the ladder. And remember, anytime you're using an extension ladder, you should have somebody with you, and they're supposed to be holding on to the ladder while you climb up. Now, they're supposed to be holding on to the ladder here at this position, not underneath the ladder. Not underneath the ladder because it's just dangerous for them to be there. But the point is that this ladder has to extend approximately 3 feet above the roof line. So when you get ready to get off the roof, you have finished your job, then you grab the ladder and you can get on the ladder and then you can climb down. Okay? The other thing too is that when you have an extension ladder, usually there's like a little cord on it that you pull so that you can extend the ladder. Well, you're supposed to tie this ladder, even if it's with that cord or something else, onto something up on the roof. Why? Well, if you don't, that ladder, because of the wind, because of the unevenness of the ground or whatever, it could slip. As it slips, it falls down. Now, what's going to happen? You are going to be stuck up there without a ladder. How are you going to get down? You're not going to be able to get down until somebody puts that ladder back up. Because typically what happens is 2 guys work together. One comes up, the other one's holding the ladder. As this one climbs up, he holds the ladder up here. Now both of you are up there. If that ladder's not tied, it's going to fall. Another problem with that is that what if it falls on somebody? What if it falls on somebody's car? Then your boss might get upset and your boss may just end up firing you. So be careful about that. Think about that, okay? Tie it off, and preferably 2 people when you're working with a ladder, 3 feet above the roof line, and 1/4 of the distance of the working height. So you need to think about all these things when you're using one of these ladders. Now, like I said before, whoever is helping you, they should be holding the ladder here for you. One thing to remember also is to always use the 3-contact rule, 3-point rule. So in other words, you're supposed to have contact with that ladder 3 points. 2 hands and 1 foot, or 2 feet and 1 hand. So as you climb up, you grab this, you grab the other one, you put 1 foot up, then you put the other foot up, then you reach for this with this one. As you're reaching, you're still holding on with 3. You grab this, you let go of this, reach with this one, then move your foot up, and then move your foot up. So you always have 3-point contact. That way you are safe. You can do this. Now, there are other ladders. There are step ladders that you can use, and those are great because they have a platform on them. They have these platform ladders, and you feel safe by standing up there on that platform because you have plenty of room up there to work. The problem is that people will try to overreach, and then we have a problem. So when you're working with these ladders, make sure you do not overreach, and if you can, get one of those for that height, that working height that you need. You need to look at the stickers that are on that ladder. Next time you get a chance, take a look at the sticker and see what it says. Now, for example, the sticker might say that it's going to tell you, the sticker is going to tell you how much weight you can put on that ladder. On this one here, for example, we see that it's 375 pounds. That's how much weight you can put on this ladder. So if you're going to end up having something in your backpack or carrying something up the ladder, then make sure that it does not exceed this because the ladder could fail, could break. Now again, if you're carrying something, how are you going to maintain the 3-point contact? You can't. So you're supposed to go up to wherever you're working, and then you're supposed to raise whatever your tools or the parts that you need with a rope. You're not supposed to carry them up the ladder. The other thing too is they're going to tell you this ladder is, for example, let's say an 8-foot ladder. It's an 8-foot ladder, so now that's the actual height of the ladder. But just because it's 8 feet, that doesn't mean that's how high up you can go. The maximum reach on an 8-foot ladder is going to be 12 feet. 12 feet. Also, they're going to tell you that they are assuming, they're thinking that everyone that's going to be working there is going to be right around 5'6". Some people may be taller, but they're saying they're doing these measurements with the average person, which is 5'6", and that 5'6" person is going to have a 12-inch reach or another foot worth of reach. So they have measured all of these things, and they're telling you that the highest standing level is going to be 5'9". So now you're going to come up and step up to one of the steps, and that step is going to be at 5'9". That's on an 8-foot ladder. That is on an 8-foot ladder. If you think about this, 5'9" plus that person is going to be 5'6". Well, that gives you 10. That gives you just a little bit over 11 feet in height, just a little bit over 11. And then they have a 12-inch reach, or in other words, another foot. Now they can reach 12 feet. So now the maximum working reach is going to be 12 feet because of this. So again, the standing level is going to be 5'9". If the person is 5'6", then you're looking at just a little bit over 11 plus another foot for the reach. Then you're looking at reaching 12 feet. That's how high up you can reach when you're standing on an 8-foot ladder safely. Another thing too is they're going to give you the model number. You have the model number, so if you need to, you can order one exactly alike and have several of those in your shop, in your truck, or whatever. Most of the equipment we are going to use, we want it to be safe. Because we want it to be safe, then it should be OSHA approved, and it should have an ANSI number to it. ANSI, they're the ones that test it and may say that yes, this is safe to use, and they can use it at a work site. So all of these things are found on the stickers that are on ladders. I wanted to make sure that I covered this because when you're up on a ladder, like I said, there are two dangers. One danger is because you might fall. You fall, you could break your leg, break your arm, you could get seriously injured. And two, because you're going to get shocked. You're up there, you get shocked, and you're going to jerk when you get shocked, and then you may fall. So you don't want to get shocked up there, so you want to make sure that power is down, power is turned off. So before you climb up on a ladder, think about all these things that I just talked about because I want you to be safe out there. Be careful Again, this is Julio, Aircon Academy. I hope this helped, and you can follow me on Facebook and subscribe to my channel on YouTube. Thank you.